I'm at a loss of words, guys. The Phillies gets not only swept by the Chicago Cubs with about a week left of baseball left, but they lost the season series. Not just lost the season series, get swept by the Chicago Cubs. Ladies and gentlemen, this Chicago Cubs team that the Phillies have gotten swept in the season series, ladies and gentlemen, have 70 wins now. Before this series, has 67 wins, and now are a 70-win baseball team. I can't say that this is a surprise. I can't say that this is a new feeling of hurt that I felt because I haven't. The Phillies historically in the month of September are just garbage, are just god awful. And there is nothing to justify what the Phillies have done over this past week. And in two crucial moments, you come out right out the All-Star break. What does every baseball team want to do right off the All-Star break? Get the job, get the ball rolling right off the break. And what do? What do the Phils do? They get swept by the Cubs. And now in a crucial moment, in a dogfight, in a close wild card race, the Phillies get swept again by the Chicago Cubs. This was an important series here for the Phillies because, number one, the Padres got their crap together. Now they're flying, they're soaring, they're sitting comfortably in a wild card spot. And now you got to worry about the damn Milwaukee Brewers have been imploding on their goddamn selves. This last wild card spot is a joke to begin with. I mean, the MLB literally sat here and said, you know what? We feel bad for some of these teams who haven't been able to get the job done. We'll just add another wild card spot. And here come the Phillies, and they can't even do that. With the payroll that they have, I'm not one to look at the monies. I don't pay these players. But it's an indication of what this team should do. It's an expectation of what this team should do. This was absolutely atrocious. And there's really not much to break down in this series besides the fact the Phillies again choked away an opportunity to set themselves up for the playoffs. This is embarrassing. This is flat out embarrassing, guys. But I want to welcome everyone to Phillies series recap as we discuss the 3-game set against the Chicago Cubs. And of course, this is more so going to be a little bit of a rant because, listen, myself, like the rest of Philadelphia, we're frustrated, okay? We're absolutely frustrated. For a lot of us Philly sports fans, a good portion of them are too young and have never seen their baseball team in a Red October situation. Just fathom that. There is a whole generation out there who lives, breathes, and bleeds with this baseball team and have yet to see an actual Red October. There are a group of fans like myself who haven't seen this baseball team in the playoffs in their adult life. I haven't seen the Phillies in the playoffs since I was a junior in high school, 2011. I had my little chin hairs going on. I was low down back in those days with the shell tops, the Truies on my pants. Things have changed, but the Phillies, they are still trash. They are still garbaggio. This is by far the best iteration of the Phillies since that 2011 team. By far. And the thing that hasn't changed is that these guys crumble in the crucial moments. Now, look, in this series, we can blame a lot of things, right? We can blame the pitching, right? Especially the bullpen pitching has gotten a lot of slack here in this series. The starting pitching was pretty solid all throughout. I thought Wheeler, Nola, and Suarez all had solid outings. Obviously, Nola's Wednesday was a little bit tough because that one hit to Morrill, and that really that's all it took, and that was really the difference maker there in that game. I thought Ranger looked good. I thought Zach looked. I would love to see Zach go a little bit deeper in his start, and then of course we look at the bullpen And we're wondering why Connor Brogdon's being put out there after a day off. They literally had a day off on Monday. So on Tuesday, especially the fact that that you, for whatever reason, have a pitch count on Wheeler. I get he's coming off of injury, but my guy, Papa, we're essentially in the playoff midst. It's full force. There's no like training wheels. There's no pitch count. No, it's go all in. You had Zach Eflin in that bullpen. You had Sir Anthony Dominguez in that bullpen. And you put Connor Brogdon in there in a crucial moment? If you win that game one, it's a completely different series. Because the Cubbies, listen, they're out. But I'll say this. I love what Ross is doing with this baseball team. These guys are still fighting. And look, they're building a foundation. They're building this back up. And I do think that within the next couple of years, the Cubs could be a team that could be competing, especially in that Central Division, which is, beyond, if I'm being honest, it's not really good at all. The Cardinals got hot right at the right time. But I don't even want to think of hypotheticals in the playoffs because this Phillies team could not even beat the Houston Astros while they were tanking. That's how I feel right now. And the worst part about it is we're going to go up in a series against a team that we have taken care of. I don't want to talk about it yet, but I'm freaking out. I'm literally so excited. So I just bought a flagpole, right, to put right outside of my house, right? And the first flag I bought was a Phillies flag because we're still in baseball season. And I'm excited. I'm a first-time homeowner. First time I get to just show off who I really am, and that's just a crazy Philly sports fan. Man, I'm proud. I'm hanging up my Phillies flag. I'm checking it every day, making sure it's nice and straight. It's flying the right way. I'm bothering my girlfriend. Yo, babe, the flag's still out there, and I literally am thinking that I am the jinx. Ever since I put that flag up there, this team has been. I want to keep my flag out there. I'm proud of being a Phillies fan, but this sucks. This straight up sucks. We could blame Topper as well for the managing of the bullpen and the managing of the games. Obviously, we could talk about the Brogdons putting him out there late in the first game. How about the next day he subs out Bryson Stott because of the whole lefty-righty bullshit, puts in Matty V in second base. And I mean, like, Topper's magic is definitely kind of dwindling off as well. But the one thing, guys, I'm sorry, besides the pitching and besides just Topper not knowing how to manage a game properly, the one thing that I have to put the blame on is the bats. This is one of the highest payrolls in baseball with a lot of power. You got Kyle Schwarber leading the NL in home runs. You got Bryce Harper, reigning NL MVP. Rhys Hoskins, we've seen what this lineup has been without him in September's and how much power they were missing without him. And he looks lost right now. JT Realmuto, he was looking like an MVP before he got to Chicago. Alec Boehm is a dude that should be hitting for more power. The way he is built to be a slashing type of hitter, come on, man. Come on. Gene Segura is perfect for this team. Okay? He is a guy who just has never made the playoffs in his career. He's been in this league for a while. He's bounced around a couple of different teams. And he's got power too, and he's not stepping up. All the kids that we had that, a couple of weeks ago were helping us win ball games, the Stotts, the Matons, and Matty V's. Quiet. Quiet as can be. Outshined by the Cubs, if you know what I mean. No pun intended. To me, putting up 3 runs, count them, 1, 2, 3 runs, in the midst of 27 innings in 3 days. It's a run a day for the team that I just recited out to you guys. I just talked about all the players, all the power that this lineup has. And for them to put up 3 runs in 3 games, to me, that is the real problem. And it goes back to the main issue yet again. This baseball team is not built for this type of moment. This baseball team has the smell of a loser. This baseball team has been in this situation for the last 5 fucking seasons. And they have yet to figure it out. And we can blame Kapler, we can blame Girardi, we can blame Thompson, but those are three managers. And yet they still can't get it done. Now look, I understand the importance of analytics, especially even after talking to Jim Curtin in the Philadelphia Union yesterday, who use analytics with every single thing that they do. But you know what the beauty is of the Union? Jim still brings that human element to his game. He literally has his analytical guy right next to him at all times. But yet he still understands the human aspect of this. And he was a former player, so he gets it a little bit better. But it's not everything down there. And it shouldn't be everything in this sport either. Was Wheeler getting pulled out and based on the front office and based on the analytical team pulling the strings? Was Bryson Stott getting pulled out the game a part of the analytical team saying, we need to pull him out? If that's the case, I want no parts of this. Let the players play. This is October baseball, essentially. I know we're not there. Tomorrow it's October. But we're right there. This was unfreaking acceptable, guys. And I'm right there with the rest of the fan base. If you can't even win a freaking baseball game, like I didn't even expect to sweep these guys. I expect a series win against the Cubs. And this point, and this is the crazy part. You know who was 1, 2, and 3 as starting pitchers in the series? Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, in that order. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Guys, that would be your first 3 pitchers you're going to put out there in the playoffs. That freaks me out. Not because they played bad, but because you had your best pitchers on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, and yet you could not give them run support. Dude, you got your best pitchers out there. That should give you the confidence. That should be, I'm going to give them that run support. And the bats right now, literally, what I'm seeing is again the same thing. Just grabbing onto that bat a little too tightly. Swinging for the fences, doing way too freaking much. They got runners on base throughout this series. Like, that's the crazy part about it. They were able to get runners on base. But for whatever reason, they started seeing those runners on base and they just freaked out and they collapsed. That's literally what it felt like. That's literally what I saw from watching this game as I'm pulling my girlfriend's hair out. It's early in the morning, guys. Bear with me here. But they were 0 for 5 yesterday with runners in scoring position. But the other issue is too here, guys. Just in general, not being able to bring in runners, it is quite honestly ridiculous. Now, Ruben Amaro said something interesting yesterday on the postgame show. They have been very, very effective using the middle of the field, using that middle gap. And they've been able to create a lot of production through that middle gap. And yet, they did not take advantage of that in this series. Excuse me. And on Wednesday, they were 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. These guys literally get cold feet. Literally get cold feet in the midst of the situation. Listen, at this point, I just don't, number one, I don't see them making the playoffs. But if they do, like, I wouldn't be too surprised because the Brewers are another team that are just god awful. It's like the Phillies and the Brewers are literally two teams that are just shoot each other in the foot until one of them bleeds out. That's really what it feels like watching these two teams try to fight for this last wild card spot. And the Brewers just lost to the Miami Marlins. And by the way, the Marlins are probably hold on one second. The Brewers just lost to the Marlins last night, and that definitely did you a big solid. But in general, you cannot just rely on a baseball team to just lose for you. That's just not going to get the job done. Now, They have, I believe, three more against the Marlins. It's a four-game set. And the thing is that the Miami Marlins are a baseball team who I just heard Don Mattingly will step down, which, it's probably his time to step down there. And so I'm assuming that this baseball team are going to want to fight for Don. I mean, like, that team is definitely fought for Mattingly, and Don Mattingly put up with some BS down there in Miami. He went from having Jose Fernandez, Giancarlo Stanton, JT Realmuto, Christian Yelich, Jose Fernandez, and then winds up with Miguel Rojas and Garrett Cooper and Joey Wendell. So yeah, I'm assuming that they're definitely going to want to fight for him. So the Brewers are going to have their hands tied, and then they end this season with the Arizona Diamondbacks, which we know is definitely no team to kind of slouch over. But again, it's literally the Brewers and the Phillies just shooting themselves in the foot until one of them bleeds out, and the one who survives the bleed out will make that final wild card spot. It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I remember, what was it, 2000, and Terry Francona's last year with the Boston Red Sox was one of the craziest collapses in baseball history. And I always thought to myself, that'll never be my team. Like, that'll never be my team. Now, this collapse is obviously not at nowhere near that historical rate, right? But this is bad. Like, for 3 months, 3 solid months, we all thought we're in the playoffs. We were in the playoff spot. We were literally in the playoffs. We even jumped the Padres. Like, we were in a comfortable playoff spot. And then September. That song September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, don't play that in the dugout. That's not good vibes. Wake Me Up When September Ends is probably a better song for them by Green Day. I know a little bit something. I know a little something, guys. Here's what concerns me, right? So, I mean, listen, you got to have short term memory, right? You got season swept by the Cubs. You just cannot keep thinking about that though. And it seems like this baseball team is just going to keep taking it game by game, and they got to keep fighting. They got to keep crawling. And that's what you got to do. But what concerns me now is you're going to Washington to face off against the Nationals, and this Nationals team is a team that we've been taking care of all season long. But it's also a team that probably resents that and are going to want to come out here and give it a fight. God forbid we lose a series to the Nationals. We're not going to get swept. Knock on wood. We're not going to get swept. But if we lose this series, you literally can put the knife in it. Like, I'm after yesterday's loss, I literally do not believe in this baseball team to get it done. But if we lose a season series or lose a series against the Nationals on the final week of the season, just put a knife in it. Don't even worry about Houston. Just focus on the Eagles. Focus on the Union. The Sixers will be right here in a second. I mean, if you want to watch the Flyers be here, that's it's up to your discretion, I guess. But put a knife in it, just straight up. And I need these players really, really to step up. I need this, and especially this core of this baseball team. Like, Kyle Schwarber is a guy who's been doing his thing, right? He's a veteran guy who's been on championship teams. He's been on playoff teams. He's doing his best. I commend him for it, right? Nick Castellanos coming off of injury, still actually giving you something, right? Not what we expected all season long from him. He's definitely hasn't been there yet, but I'm not going to fault him right now. But right now, what I'm going to criticize the most is the core. It is the players that have been here for a while. It's the players that make the most money, who we consider star players, who do not step up in this moment. JT Realmuto, my guy. That MVP form needed to be saved for right now. Step the F up. You are the best catcher in baseball. You need to start acting like it. Rhys Hoskins. Ho! Rhys Hoskins. You got Rhys Hoskins' wife jawing back and forth with Ricky Bell on Twitter. Like, what are you doing? You need to get your head out of your ass as well. It's funny because last year we missed Rhys Hoskins' power. And this year, we just missed Rhys Hoskins doing anything. That's crazy to me. He just forgot how to hit. Just standing up there, taking a strike on the chin. A strikeout on the chin. Aaron Nola. I mean, it was look. At some point you get tired of saying it was a solid outing, but it was just that one pitch. Like I'm getting tired of it. I really am. It's a lot of those crucial starts. It's oh he looked good, but he just threw that one pitch and that was it. Like at some point, enough is enough, Aaron. There's people in the city that consider you to be an ace. You've yet to demonstrate that. An ace demonstrates consistency. It's a guy you can rely on when you need it. Madison Bumgarner is a perfect example. Now, obviously, no one's Madison Bumgarner, but you get the picture. And I know it's kind of hard to criticize Bryce Harper coming off of injury this year a little bit early. And, we could find out that the injury is a little bit more severe than what we expected it to be. And let's remember last year, Bryce Harper, I don't think if he didn't go on that MVP pace, the Phillies would have had a chance at the end of the season to make the playoffs. I really don't think they would have. But at some point, Bryce, the circumstances are what they are. You're dealt with the cards you're dealt with. The Nationals, the year after they parted ways with Bryce Harper, well, I should say Bryce Harper parted ways with them, they won the World Series. And they didn't miss Bryce Harper whatsoever. And they had, they kind of spoke out about it. They were glad he left. There's a lot of pressure on this baseball team. And instead of handling the pressure in a different way, they're letting it get to them. So we'll see what happens in the series here today against so we got a 4-game set against the Nats, and then we have on Friday here a doubleheader. It's a little bit wet here today, and obviously, if you guys notice what's going on around the country, we do have ourselves a little bit of a little bit of a hurricane going on around the southeast region of the United States. So make sure you guys stay dry. But we'll see how that affects if if the rain does affect this baseball team. As ESPN just froze on me, but that's why I got 2 phones, one for the recording and one for the stats. All right, so okay. ESPN on my second phone app did not update today. All right, so game 1 of the doubleheader, we got a 105 first pitch. Bailey Falter is going to go up against Eric Fetty. So Falter need a bounce back performance as well, so that'll be a 1 o'clock first pitch. And the Phillies taking it safe. Game 2, 7:05. Noah Syndergaard going up on the mound. And for the Nationals, they have yet to decide who will be the pitcher in that one. So we shall see what that takes place. But guys, keep your heads up. Let's just see what happens here. But trust and believe, I am right here with you of being frustrated with this stinking baseball team. Guys, it's going to do it for this Philly series recap. This truly sucks. But we will talk about the Washington National series right after that series. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe for more, especially if you enjoy this. I would truly appreciate it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name of El Parcero Philly, and I'm telling you guys,